Okay, again, so my name is Annie Lindy Kugel. I am the Executive Director of the Community Services Network. I use she, her pronouns. And this is our first Washington County Thrives meeting. I want to welcome all of you. Thank you for the pivot from in-person to virtual. I hope that you're staying safe and hopefully warm today. And just want to thank you for being here. So if you could just take a quick minute to write your name, your agency, and your job. And then if you want to share a word about how you're feeling this morning, please feel free to do that in the chat, just so we know who is here. So if you can just take a minute to do that, that would be fantastic. Laura, welcome. Hi, Travis. Stephen, welcome. Kaylee, good to see you. Or Callie, sorry. Joy, Juan, Andrew, good morning. Susie, awesome. Gwen. Now they're coming in so fast I can't read them anymore. Well, just wanted to welcome all of you. Thanks again for being here. So today we're going to move mostly into presentations, but I just wanted to acknowledge that this is the first time that the CSN is taking over for the Thrives meetings in Washington County. So just bear with us. We're new to this kind of program in Washington County. We're eager to meet all of you, connect with you, learn more about the work that you're doing, who you are, and how we can come in and support. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on our rollout in Washington County. I'm saving that for our Pass the Torch event next week on January 25th. And it's from 4:30 to 6. That's been on the website, and you should receive the emails for that. If you have not and you're interested in attending, please feel free to send us an email and we'll make sure you get on that list. But I did want to touch briefly, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the CSN, kind of who we are and what we do. We are a social service convener. We focus on education, networking, and collaboration in the greater kind of metro area. Our focus is really to bring together nonprofits to support each other in the work that they do, and also allows each of us to stay in our individual expertise areas and kind of collaborate for the rest. So we say, do what you do best and partner for the rest. And also, education is a big cornerstone of what we do. We really feel it's important to understand each other's service offerings, how to access services and resources available, so that when we're serving individuals, we can be more aware of what's out there to support them, because of course we can't do or provide everything for an individual. So we really do need to rely on our partners. And so a big portion of what we do is just making sure you're aware of who are you working alongside in your community. And the communities are very large. So there's a lot of opportunities to get to know folks. So that's essentially who we are, and we will share more in the future. But if you haven't been on our website, here is our website, and we're also hosting one-on-ones. So if you'd like to have a meet and greet, please feel free to message us through the website. We're happy to schedule a one-on-one with you to kind of give you a better understanding of who we are. And again, if you can attend the Pass the Torch event, we'll share a little bit more there. But today, we are going to be focusing on workforce development and employment. So we have quite a few speakers today. And thank you for the presenters for switching to virtual. I want to start with Andrew McGough, who is the Executive Director for Worksystems, Washington County. Andrew, do you want to give us a wave for a second? Awesome.
Sure.
Great. Perfect. Okay, so Andrew's going to give us an update on Worksystems programs and partners in Washington County. And Andrew, I'm going to try and share my screen here for you.
That would be great. I wrote that I was feeling displaced in the chat because I am literally in my basement on a borrowed computer with several young adults sleeping all around my house. because they got snowed in at work and I wound up taking like 3 or 4 of them in. So I'm hoping to be iced out soon enough and I can get my space back.
I bet you're ready for that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I am just trying to share this. For some reason, I'm having a hard time running. Oh, here we go.
There you go. All right.
Okay,
Well,
good to
as
go.
thank you. As Annie mentioned, and I just want to appreciate you taking this on, Annie. I've been part of Thrives for many years, worked with Glenn as well as others from the community. And it plays a pretty vital role in bringing together a lot of not-for-profits. And I like that your description, do what you do best and partner to do the rest. That's a great logo or whatever it might be. So I really appreciate that. So anyway, my name is Andrew Goff, and I'm the director of Worksystems, which is the Portland Metro Workforce Development Board. We serve not just Washington County, but Multnomah County as well as the city of Portland. And really, we're designated by the governor in collaboration with local government officials to receive certain pots of federal and state money to essentially improve the quality of the regional workforce, with a particular focus on populations who have been historically marginalized or are struggling to reconnect to the local economy or to earn enough to be successful in the local economy. So, next slide. So, as a not-for-profit, we're a mission-driven organization. This is our mission: to coordinate a regional workforce system that supports individual prosperity and business competitiveness. And really what we're trying to do is say that there is no, when the supply side, the worker benefits, businesses benefit, and vice versa. So when companies are able to find highly qualified and skilled people to do the work that they need to get it done, they tend to thrive. And typically, if you have those skills, you're able to make enough to support yourself and your family. Our values: collaboration, equity, accountability, inclusiveness, relevance, excellence. These are just being reconfirmed by our board as we speak. We're in the throes of a planning process, but I think that we expect to see these values continue moving forward. So next slide. So I wanted to just give you a broad, this is a very complicated world. We did not design this. We attempt to manage it and manage it effectively. So it's lots of moving parts, lots of partners, lots of resources. So if you look at the graph to the left, at the base is really the Regional Workforce Development Board. And as I mentioned, that's a board that originates out of federal legislation that then is approved by a governor. So there's a whole lot of regulatory and legislative backing to how a board works, what they're supposed to do and accomplish. But essentially, if you break it down, the 3,000 plus pages of regulation, what you find is the board's primary responsibility is to really develop a regional workforce plan, which expresses some shared goals and outcomes, which then allows them to look for how are we making progress on that plan, and then also to serve as an entity to resolve workforce-related problems. Because something about the board that I think is somewhat unique, despite its size, and we'll get into that, is that we focus on workforce development issues 24/7, 365 days a year. It doesn't matter if the economy is good or bad. That's what we do. Is so when we talk about focus on what we do best, we believe that's workforce development. So as you move up, we are staff. Worksystems are essentially staff to the board. We do not deliver direct services. We're really a coordinating entity, an intermediary who manages resources, who really is charged with helping to make progress on the goals defined by the board. And to the right, you can see the current strategic goals that the board has identified. And so we do things like community and industry engagement. We do a lot of resource development work. We're really good at grant writing and other kinds of things like that. We do tracking and reporting. We do research around the economy. And then we really try and build communities of practice so that we can continuously improve the services that are available to the folks we're trying to trying to serve. And then if you look up, that's really the service provider community. And I know that several are talking today. Some of our partners, PYB, Portland Community College, among others, are out there actually doing the day-to-day work of delivering services to job seekers and employers in Washington County. And then finally, our sort of North Star goal, and I apologize for the crude graphics, but is really to produce qualified workers, because again, we feel if we do that, we're meeting the needs of both the worker and employers. So next slide. So this is our board of directors. Those that are highlighted in green are representatives of Washington County. And those with an asterisk next to their names, those are organizational representatives that represent multiple jurisdictions within the region. So overall, I think Washington County has a very good set of representatives on our board. Now, these folks are appointed by the elected officials on the board. So Roy Rogers, who's the commissioner from Washington County, appoints all of the private sector members to the Workforce Development Board. And just a quick note is that 51% of our membership must be from the private sector. So that's, again, something that sits in the regulatory environment. So next slide. So if we zoom out and look at Washington County, so we have two big centers, which are part of Worksource Portland Metro, which is the public workforce system as defined by the state board. Worksource Oregon, I'm hopeful that many of you know who that is. But we also want to build relationships at the community level because we're interested in meeting people where they are. So the strategy is we want to use the infrastructure and the resources that are available in the public system and then make connections through career coaching and other direct relationships with not-for-profits and educational providers to make connections to that public system when folks are ready to go there. So you'll see that it's a big system, served about 12,000 job seekers last year, lots of customers. One center is located at Willow Creek Center of PCC, and the other one is in Tiger, right off of 99 and I-5 essentially. So next slide. Oh, I had a little phase. So at each of those centers, there's a core set of services that are available. So those services are available at each of those big facilities. And then what we do is we try and complement those services with other training activities. I mean, something that's not listed here is like Quick Start to Semiconductors, which is a new program that we've done in partnership with the city of Hillsborough, Intel, and PCC. So it's like, how do we bring other resources into that infrastructure to make sure that when people are there are additional activities to help train them and get them connected to good paying jobs in the community. So next slide. So these are all of our partners listed there. I won't go through them, but we have a great list of partners and we invest just under $4.3 million this year in those organizations. So you can see that there's a wide range of folks, everything from, state agencies, the Oregon Employment Department, all the way down to, not-for-profit organizations like Community Action, ERCO, and others. Next slide. So just sort of quickly, what's next for workforce development, at least from our perspective, at the federal level, election years basically breed a lot of inertia, and particularly with our sort of extraordinarily divisive political environment, we don't expect that to change. We'll need to see, but reality is we are likely to remain flat in the funding world and also on the policy level. And then at the state side, the short session is starting in a couple weeks. There's not a lot of workforce stuff in there. There is a bill that may increase some resources on the semiconductor side, which will help us expand activities like Quick Start. So that's good, but we're really keeping an eye out towards the 2025 legislative session because that's really where we think the governor and will sort of lay down the gauntlet in terms of what she wants to accomplish on the workforce front. And then regionally, I mentioned we're in the throes of developing our strategic plan that's out for public comment, by the way. You can go to our website, www.worksystems.org, and access that planning document and provide comments. We'd love to hear from you all. There's a comprehensive economic development strategy, which is the broader regional economic development strategy, which is now implementing and has a lot of focus on workforce as well as underserved communities. Quality Jobs is a new initiative that we're really trying to integrate into all of our work. And we have adopted clean energy and childcare as new industry sectors that will be focused on over the course of next year. The last slide, I hope. Yeah, so thank you very much. Annie, hope I didn't go beyond the 10 minutes, but happy to answer questions. So thank you all very much.
No, you did great. Thank you. Any questions for Andrew? Just feel free to unmute or pop it in the chat if you have one. Let's see. Contact info. Thank you, Yulia. Yes, Andrew, would you mind sharing your contact info? And is it also okay to share this, this slide deck afterwards? Okay, great. Just so everyone knows, this is being recorded, and we will send out a follow-up email with the slide deck and the link to the recording, which links to our YouTube channel. So you will have that for as long as you would like it. Okay, for local students, does your org offer grants or scholarships?
Yes, we do. But they're provided through that service providing organization. Scholarships are certainly an available option for people in those programs, but you access those through those service providing organizations.
Is that your partners, Andrew? Just making.
Yes, that's the list of partners there. They deliver those direct services. We identify the things they can spend money on, and one of those things are scholarships. We do a lot of work-based learning as well. And I see Sarah Weinman, who's on our youth team, on the call. She can answer specific questions as well as around what some of those opportunities are for young people in the community. And I would only just say, though, that we do focus on lower income young people, other young people that are experiencing other barriers that might prevent them from either being successful in school or maybe they've dropped out of school. So we're really trying to focus on kids that have not really been successful in the traditional educational enterprise.
And is there a singular location, Andrew, that folks can go to see those scholarships, or do they need to go to the partners' websites, or how would they find that avenue?
Yeah, they would connect directly with those partners. We're in the throes of developing, redesigning our website. So we're hopeful that by April, we will have some direct connectivity there. But I would go to one of those partner organizations to find more about that, or even contact someone like Sarah, who could then make a connection to one of those partners for you.
Okay, great. Awesome. And then Diego said, you mentioned many partners. Can you explain a little bit about the different roles of the partners and maybe how they become partners?
Yeah, so we do public procurement. So requests for proposals are typically how we identify partners. So it's a competitive process. And depending on, so essentially our services broke down in 3 ways. So there are certain resources that are identified for adults. Then there are certain resources that are identified for what's known as dislocated workers. So those are folks who have been laid off from their jobs. And then for disconnected youth. So we identify service providers to offer those services. We also have what we call populations of focus, so communities of color, low-income communities, people with limited English skills. So we try and identify community level service providers to identify who those populations often feel more comfortable accessing services there first, and or those organizations have some population specific expertise, it might be with formerly incarcerated folks or something of that nature. So we have a broad array of those kind of partnerships, in part because we want to make sure we try and meet people where they are. And we think the best way to do that is through those community level connections. So we're constantly looking for new partnerships. We have a thing called the Career Coaching Network. And so those are all of those community organizations that are offering career coaching. We try and create a community of practice so that we're working together to sort of improve that model and to help skill people up, but then also to rely on the expertise of those individual organizations. We also encourage what we call line partnerships, where there may not be a financial relationship, but there's a knowledge transfer and a sort of systemic partnership where we can help you understand what's available through the public system, because again, it is a public system, but then also you can help us understand how to best serve and reach the communities that you're working with. So, long story, there's a lot of partners, competitively procured, and we're constantly looking to evolve and grow that network. So please do go to our website and put that in here too, because all of our notices will be available through the website for funding.
Andrew, I think you're cutting out a little bit.
My
Stay
apologies.
close. There you go. If you stay close, that might help.
I just said I'm going to put our website in here too, because all of the solicitations are available on the website, as well as ways to connect to folks in the network and or folks at Worksystems to see how we could better.
Perfect. And two quick last minute questions. And then after that, Sarah has her information in the chat, and then Andrew can share it as well, just so that you can follow up with questions with them directly. So let's see, the last minute, are you seeing any current trends that are unique, certain trades needing help with jobs that is more than usual?
There's labor shortages across the board, no doubt, and those are likely to persist. I don't know how many know it, but for the first time in 30 years, Multnomah County, which is our biggest county, lost population. And we think that trend is likely to continue for quite some time. There's some just sort of natural slowdown of population growth, but there's also, we're very reliant on in-migrants to support population growth, and as that slows, we anticipate that,
Cutting out again.
I think we're cutting out again, Andrew. I think we're losing you a little bit here.
Okay, my apologies. I won't get too difficult.
No.
So we're seeing across the board labor shortages, but we focus on industries that we know provide some growth or want to offer some growth opportunities, and also offer good pathways to self-sufficiency level jobs, so that our ultimate goal is to place people in employment that allows them to support themselves and their family, regardless of their circumstances. So construction, healthcare, along with some social services in healthcare, behavioral health, childcare.
I think we're losing you again, Andrew. I'm sorry. I think we're gonna.
I'll just healthcare, manufacturing, semiconductor.
Okay. Well, thank you. This was super helpful. And I think we got the majority of it before it started to cut out. So appreciate you and the information you have to share. There are some additional questions. If you wouldn't mind following up just in the chat, responding to those, that would be fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Okay, now we have Karina Ramirez from Posperidad. And Karina, I know I just saw you. Great, awesome. Welcome. Karina, it says at Centro Cultural Workforce and Economic Development Branch, we empower people to find living wage jobs, advance their careers, and build a strong foundation for themselves and their families. Karina, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I am going to get your presentation set up here.
Perfect. And good morning, everybody. I usually say I'm not a morning person, but I feel like I've had coffee and we have electricity this morning. So we're off to a really good start. So I'm really excited to be here and to share a little bit about the services that we offer. So I will start by saying that we cover the economic development, the workforce development for the organization, but we, as an organization, are Centro Cultural. So Centro Cultural, I mentioned, we're the economic prosperity side of things, and we do workforce development and all that fun stuff. And we can hop on over to the next slide because whenever we talk about our services, I have to, I think the Centro slide is the second one.
Oh, did it go? Did I?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
so no worries. Thank you so much for having this up, by the way. I was going to try to balance the two, so I love this. But our services at Centro, I always want to include the full picture of the services offered across the organization, because often when we're doing workforce development, it's something that we have to look at the 360 of the household. It's not something that necessarily we say, hey, these services are available, these opportunities are available, and our community can simply access them without concern or any additional barriers. So we have to look at what else is happening in the household to ensure that we're able to fully support our participants. So for Centro, we do have a couple of different pillars that we focus on. To start off with, housing is one of our newer pillars, and it actually came from a need from community during COVID. So we did not have a housing component. It was not something that we did at all, but with COVID, we saw a huge uptake in this area and our community. So we tend to lead our services based on what the need at the time is. So we do have a housing component. We also have an community wellness component. So it's health and wellness. It used to be focused during COVID on vaccines and getting access to that, getting education out to community. Right now we're shifting a little bit. So we're doing Sábados Saludables, which is a component that is more focused on wellness than just the idea of, hey, there's these vaccines or whatnot. So we do a lot of wellness focus. Our first one kicked off last weekend, actually. We also, under that program, falls our Edad de Oro programming, which is for older adults. It's called, it translates into Golden Age. And then, sorry, if we could go back to the previous slide. Perfect. We also have youth development and education. So this component is focused on K through 12. And it's anything from, it's connecting our community to STEM and what that space looks like, what careers opportunities can look like. There is a large partnership with Intel on that. There's also robotics and coding programs that happen throughout the year. Some of them are most focused on weekends and it's more an activity. Sometimes it's over a summer and it's a camp. And one of the components is over the school year. It is focused on Western Washington County, but the youth are able to compete and robotics against other teams in the area. And then we also have a civic leadership and advocacy component. So this is just connecting our community to opportunities to voice their opinions and just kind of ensure that their voices are being heard on different matters across the board. Like I said, I just want to do a quick overview on what else is across Centro before we do a deeper dive into the services at Posperidad. So if we can hop on over to the next slide. So at our end, we do workforce development. So we work with adults as well as youth. And for us, youth is anybody under 24. So there is a bit of an overlap between our adult workforce and our youth workforce. I think the overlap is really helpful when maybe we don't have the resources under our youth programming. We can simply kind of transition somebody and use adult resources because the individuals will qualify. So we're able to identify what program would fit individuals better to connect with potential opportunities and resources. We also have a business component. This component is something that's more for the entrepreneurial side of things. When we started Posperidad, we wanted to ensure that we had opportunities for individuals in our community who did not go through the traditional route. And then we also have an advancement program. So to focus a little bit on the adult workforce, this is anything that you can think of with traditional workforce or employment support. So it could be anything from the basics of somebody who does not have the know-how to navigate online applications. We're able to sit down with individuals and connect on that space. It's also getting them set up with resumes or getting them prepped for interviews. We also are able to help navigate unemployment spaces if there's questions, concerns. We don't have access to the system, but we know how to navigate it enough to be able to provide navigation and support on that end. And under this component is also more long-term, short-term planning on what career exploration can look like if an individual comes in and they're currently employed, but they're looking at what could be the next step for them. That's a big component of what we do, as well as the navigation and training support. And it's not just about identifying funding sources, but also identifying providers in the area, navigating what prerequisites can look like, and kind of getting individuals to plan out what their goals are and helping navigate throughout the whole process. So that's on the adult workforce component, and all of the services and support is just connected back to ensuring that we're connecting our community to opportunities to secure living wage jobs and provide a better economic foundation for our community. And then if we can go on to the next slide, it's our youth workforce. So it's very similar to what we provide under our adult workforce, except that it's definitely focused on younger audiences. So our youth career coach tends to have a little bit more experience working with youth, with barriers they may be facing, or just focused on areas that they may be more interested in. One of the components that also falls under this is our LEAD program, and it's a new program that we started last year. So it connects with 10th and 11th grade students. It's throughout the school year. They meet once a week. They connect to learn different skills that can be transitioned into the workforce, but they also look at what options are available after high school. And oftentimes we do want to make sure that we're not just telling everybody a four-year degree is your only option. So they do work with different options, right? They do tour colleges, but they also connect with vocational training providers and explore alternatives to a four-year degree. And they meet weekly. So it's something that the hope is that the 10th graders will come back next year and they'll be 11th graders and continue on until they're ready to look at what's next. This one is not necessarily restricted to location, but they do meet in Hillsborough. So that's the only component that they do have to come out to Hillsborough to meet. And then outside of that, our next component is our business support. So like I mentioned earlier, this was a component that we wanted to ensure that when we built a workforce center, when we talked about having workforce development in our community, a lot of individuals in our community do not necessarily go that traditional route of working for a company, or maybe they have barriers to doing that. So this is a huge component of the workforce in our community. So we wanted to have technical assistance support for this. And then this is anything from connecting with somebody who has never started a business, they've they don't even know how to get started on like, what licenses do I need? Where do I start? To somebody who's already well established, but maybe is needing to connect to a resource and community, whether that's a grant application for an improvement plan on their brick and mortar location, or during COVID funding that was available for small business owners, but there was an online application or something along those lines. So connecting even to existing resources in our community. So that's on the small business side of things. Our last component is our advancement program. Our advancement program is heavily focused on building a foundation. So a lot of the programs are ensuring we're connecting our community with those resources or programs that are going to help them build a strong foundation. One of those being our GED program. So the GED program is offered virtually and in person. That is something that came out of COVID that we've continued and has been incredibly popular, even with a population that had initially been a bit apprehensive about learning virtually. It's just so much more convenient. So we do offer still in person, but so many people find it so much more convenient that it does help get students to access the services. So we have it in English and Spanish for the GED. And then something that we have back up and running that I'm very excited about is our digital literacy component. So we've started sharing the classes, and we have somebody on our team now full-time that is able to help navigate those services. So on the advancement, like I said, it's more about building strong foundational skills. And then this kind of also goes hand in hand with our workforce component of identifying industry recognized credentials and getting individuals credentialed to enter the workforce, hopefully at a slightly higher paying wage than they would have if they would have just entered entry level without any training or credentialing. So I went over these incredibly fast. I tend to just get really excited and power through. So if there is any questions, I want to say that was my last. Oh, the only other thing is we are actively hiring for our career development coordinators, business advisors, as well as a data analyst. I'm always just throwing that out there everywhere I go.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I love you haven't missed a beat with just providing youth services all the way up. So it's super important what you're doing. Thank you so much for the work that you do. I'm just checking here in the chat. Let's just go through. We have one question here. Could individuals who may be justice involved also participate in these programs by any chance? I'm particularly thinking about the workforce advancement programs. Great question.
Yeah, so on the advancement side, like GED, all of those programmings, definitely we have absolutely no concern with that. For workforce, we can definitely participate. The only restraint starts to happen on the training side if there are, especially I think of healthcare as being one of them, where there is going to be some restraints in getting licensed. But we work around that, right? Or we try to maybe, like, if there was a particular situation where we've talked through this, maybe healthcare is not the route, we find alternatives or identify options that could be of interest. And then I do want to mention there is a question about individuals who are not documented or not currently documented. Something that was said to me early on when I started with the organization was the fact that that particular situation is a moment in time, right? So we never know when in an individual that status may change. The hope is that there will be shift and that there will be a change in that. So we help anyone who comes in through our doors. The opportunities may be a bit different, but we work with individuals on a one-on-one basis to figure out what it can look like. We also try to inform them on what options are available if it's not the traditional route of a W-2. It's like, what does it look like to be an independent contractor? What does it look like to explore self-employment? What is, you know, we look at all options that could be available.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Karina. Karina, could you put would you mind sharing your email? Is that okay?
Yes.
To put that in the chat. And then is it okay to share your presentation afterwards?
Yeah.
With folks? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for the work you do and the presentation. Super appreciate it. Any questions you have, please share those with Karina. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next up we have the DPI group, DPI Staffing and DPI Security. We have Travis Pearson, the CEO of the DPI group, and Stephen Bubar, the Portland branch manager for security. And we have Saoni, there you are, Saoni Mitra, the recruiter for DPI Staffing, here to share. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm
perfect.
so sorry. I mean, my apologies in advance because my internet is running a little slow today. It's kind of acting up. So sometimes if you see me pause or something, my apologies in advance. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Annie, for having us. There is a slight plot twist. I know my manager, Christina, was all set to rock this presentation, but the power outage had different plans, I guess. So here I am. So, yeah, I think we could start the presentation. Do you want me to share the screen or you will take over? I will.
You can go ahead and share the
Okay.
screen. I don't have yours.
Oh, you don't have it? Okay. All righty. Okay. All righty.
Let me know if you have any issues. There we go.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen here?
Yes.
All righty, wonderful. So as you all know, Annie has already mentioned, we are the DPI group. We were previously known as DPOL Industries. We have recently changed to DPI Staffing. Just our division has changed to DPI Staffing. We have our Octo presence. We are present, our headquarters is in Portland, and we are also present in Salem and Silverdale, Washington, Boise, Idaho, Sierra Vista, Arizona, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Hibbing, which is also in Minnesota, and we have Baltimore in Maryland. So we are really excited to support our services across the country. And we have a wonderful team across to help out in that. So who is DPI? So if I know we are serving this community since 1971, and but still some of us need to know who we are. So we are a nonprofit. We were founded in 1971 as an organization to help people with, disabilities who struggle or, to find work. We have expanded our mission to include other barriers, which means disabilities remain to the core of what we do. So I will go to the next slide. Sorry, can you guys see me? I'm not able to see you guys. I'm so sorry, my apologies. I might as well turn off my video just to make sure if that's okay.
Absolutely. Do what you need to do. That's no problem. It's hard to manage it all sometimes.
Yeah, I will. So, yeah, now I can see you because my screen was stuck. I wasn't able to see you guys. All righty. So, we cater to the variety of physical and mental health condition these days. I mean, that can be considered as disabilities that can potentially create barriers to employment. Our goal is to help people who want to work, but may face challenges to have that opportunity. Along with our mental health and physical health, some of other barriers that we also support that could include age, which is 55 plus, having a little bit of a criminal record, including incarceration, disability, which is, as I have already mentioned, which is physical, mental, anything addiction related or intellectual. And also if someone's experiencing homelessness or housing instability. And we do provide resources with that as well. And also we support people who have limited English proficiency. We are an alternative staffing company, we cater to temporary staffing positions, which we feel that they could be the stepping stones that help individuals to gain experience and earn wages in many cases. Some as well achieve stability because we do have temp to hire or direct hire positions as well, which means if the individual is doing great in their temporary position that they are in, most of the times they're offered full-time opportunity for the same job that they were doing. We celebrate when our associates gain permanent jobs, whether at one of our customers or otherwise. DPI Staffing, our onboarding process is very simple. We will have to submit an application. We can go to dpistaffing.com/jobs. Once we receive the application, we have our set of recruiters who will go ahead and view the application and review the skill sets and eventually schedule a one-on-one call with them that we call as a phone screen. So we usually try to understand what type of work they were doing and what type of work they're looking for. I mean, there have been situations where people say, okay, I was into administrative, but I'm looking for something which is more into production. So we help them to cater their needs. And then the third step would be the onboarding, which is all electronic. We send out a bunch of paperwork and they could finish it off electronically. And then we will meet with them for a short period of time to make sure we verify the documents. We meet with them in person so that we have that human touch. And people who are not able to make it, we do have an option to do virtual I-9 verification as well. And that's it. We run the background. Once the background comes back, they are active and ready for work. So we are a very felony-friendly organization. Our background prohibits are only anything sexual or death-related crime. We don't do urine analysis for everyone unless it is a customer-specific request. So the matching process that we follow is also super simple. Once our applicant is active in the system, our recruiters get the notification. So we usually we keep our current openings handy all the time, and we see if the candidate is a good match. We will usually take a look, like what is the skill set? What is the rate of pay that they were looking for? How far are they willing to commute for work? Whether they're on transit or they drive. What is the assignment period that they're looking for? So all those information we would have already gathered during the phone screen process. And once they're active, all we need to do is just go by that and the skill sets, and eventually some of our jobs are sent to start, which means we could send them and they just start working from the day one. And some of them do require a very short and individual informal interview. That way, the customers also get to know them and they are ready to start from the next day. And if we're not able to help them with the current position, or for some reason, if they do not qualify, we will flag them on our available list, which means their profile will be flagged to the staffing team. So something similar comes up for some other customer, we will be more than happy to present them and eventually help them to find a job. Our perks are great. We do weekly pay, which is one of my favorite because I feel that makes the things very convenient for our employees. No matter how the situation, they always have or maybe got a little change jingling in their pocket, thanks to our weekly pay for that. We have paid time offs, and our benefits, they start after 1 year of their completion of their full-time work. But we do have our employee assistance program, which is covered and accessible to our employees from the day one of their employment with us. And our employees get to test different career opportunities to see what best fits for them. Somebody who wants to try out, okay, what a warehouse position looks like. They would, if they want to try out in a warehouse for some days, and they say, no, I don't think this is my interest. I would like to try something which is more, which is not so, which doesn't require so much of heavy lifting. So if you can help me something, finding a front desk or receptionist kind of a job, then we help them to do that as well. And that way they can feel that, experience it, and let us know, hey, this is something I think I like, and I would like to stick to that and move forward with that. So, and that's it for now. This is Christina's contact information, and then you have me, and we have Jace, who's also one of the recruiters who help us and the team to mitigate the staffing requirements of our clients, and also to the employees. They're our goal. We help them. We are always available on call, through email. If any of them need any assistance, we also provide, help in doing resume build up. Sometimes if somebody says that, hey, my resume is getting rejected, can you take a look at it and see where I could change? Sometimes our recruiters will also, spend one-on-one time with them to see, hey, you know what, I think we should put the work history up here instead of your skill sets, and just help them to tailor their resumes to make sure they're successful. So once our employees, they're always, it's like a family. We always love to be in touch with them and make sure they're doing okay, physically, mentally, both. And that's what DPI Staffing is. And I will leave it to DPI Security. I don't want to take all the time. I'm sure Stephen will be mad otherwise.
Thank you so much, Saoni, and thank you for stepping in. I super appreciate that. And if you want to stop sharing your screen, that would be great. And then we'll give Stephen a few moments to chat. Thank you again. Great.
Oh, all right. Good morning, everybody. I am Stephen Bubar, the Portland Area Security Manager, and super happy to be here. Due to the time restraints, I have a very exciting slide to show. Share. There we go. That has my information on it, and it also has the security recruiter information on it. That recruiter covers Portland Metro, Salem, and Eugene. So I'm going to go through this real quick. Staffing already went through DPI's history, so I'll focus on the high end for DPI Security so that I don't go over the time frame. Security's mission as a company of the DPI group, DPI Security mission is to identify and create job opportunities for individuals with employment barriers, to include disabilities. We pride ourselves in our ability to match a security officer's strengths and abilities with the right assignment. Our philosophy at DPI Security, the foundation of our relationship with our clients and employees, is plentiful. With our honest communication, we strive to effectively communicate and provide the best possible service to both parties to ensure that we meet the needs of the applicant and we meet the needs of the client. We have 3 locations for DPI Security, which is Salem, Eugene, and Portland. Portland pay ranges from $17.50 to $23 an hour, and Salem and Eugene ranges from $15 to $19.50 an hour. Training is provided, and there are plenty of opportunities for advancement, and we pride ourselves on that. Our benefit package is pretty sweet. I don't see this really anywhere else. Once you hit 60 days, you are available for health insurance in DPI Security. We also do the weekly paychecks, direct deposit, ACA compliant medical, and plenty more other health benefits, to include the EAP program, which is our employee assistant program, which has a wealth of knowledge and opportunities in there to assist anybody with quite a bit of stuff. Our eligibility for security officers, you're required to be at least 18 years of old. That is mandated by the Oregon, the DPSSP program under Oregon. You undergo a criminal background check, and that goes back 10 years, pass a pre-employment drug test, and provide proof of eligibility to work in the U.S. If any of that fails, we always refer those applicants to staffing, because as staffing went over, they have opportunities for people in that. Our applying process, which you'll see here on this amazing slide I have for you all on the very bottom, is dpisecurity.com. Feel free to look that out. You will apply with that application. Our recruiter will look over it and then do a phone screen. In that phone screen, we confirm with the applicant's information, go over that applicant's requested pay range, and then go over the schedule that they're requiring, at least day, swing grade, full-time, part-time, and then transportation, whether they have a personal vehicle or they use public transportation, and then the requirements for DPSSP to certify. We then invite you into an in-person interview. If you pass the phone screen, we go more in depth with the applicant to ensure that we are meeting their requirements for pay and schedule, and that they can meet requirements that we have available. If both parties agree to what we come up with, we move forward in the process. If they do not have a security license, we invite them to the DPI group's main body for Portland or Salem or Eugene, do a 2-day training, which is provided. And then we also do a CPR and first aid course and a Narcan course as well. Again, all provided in-house. There is also a drug test that is completed before the training begins. Once they have passed everything, they sit back down with someone in our admin group and we go over that requirement for pay and the schedule. Once we confirm all of that, they go through on-the-job training, and we also have a supervisor and or a lead show up to the job site to ensure that they understand their responsibilities and they have all the information that they need. If they are DPSST certified, it's super awesome because it only takes a day, drug test, confirm that they're good, and then we offer them the job and get them to work. It's pretty fantastic. Again, I apologize that I spoke pretty quickly, just trying to make sure we don't go over the time. Again, there is my information. There is our recruiter's information. Feel free to reach out anytime for any questions. I'm going to put it back at Annie. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. And I just want to let everyone know this is soft security, so it is unarmed. Many people have that question. So DPI Security is unarmed, and they do have opportunities, both staffing and security, in Washington County, even though the HQ is in Portland. So just wanted to add that to this. And thank you, both Saoni and Stephen. And Travis, are you still on? No, Travis is on. Oh, there you are. Great. Travis Pearson is the CEO of the DPI group. You want to give a wave, Travis?
Hey, everybody.
And Travis has worked pretty much in every division in the DPI group. So DPI Staffing and DPI Security are the CSN's sister brother nonprofits. So we are kind of a group of nonprofits that are focused on employment, and then mine is focused on social service connections. So we can talk more about that later, but just wanted to put that in there. All right, thank you all so much. Super appreciate you being here. Okay. We next have Callie Giarritti. I'm sorry, Callie, I totally just botched your last name.
No problem.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Annie. Did you want me to share my screen for my presentation?
I have yours right here. If it's easy,
Okay.
Would you prefer that?
Sure, I can do it on my end. Okay, can I get a verbal okay if you're seeing just one screen that says PCC? Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I am from the Portland Community College Opportunity Centers. I'm going to keep rolling because I know we're on a time constraint, but if folks are open to putting in the chat if they have had any interaction with the opportunity centers, I would love to hear about that. And we are essentially here to help community members build confidence, gain skills, and make a plan. So we have 2 opportunity centers, one in Northeast Portland called the Opportunity Center at 42nd Ave, recently renamed. It used to be called PCC Metro. And we have the Willow Creek Center in Washington County. So I'm going to focus on that today since this is Washington County Thrives, but most of our programs are across both centers. So we are essentially a hub for workforce development, and we are connecting community members with employers and community partners. So what we offer at the Opportunity Centers are opportunities to explore careers, build skills, connect to education, navigate resources, and eventually get hired. I'll go deeper into what each of those things that we offer is, but a big part of what we do is helping people do college their way. So we serve all community members, regardless of their age, their skill level, but we do have a focus on non-traditional students. So we work with, what that means is we work with a lot of folks who are returning to college after maybe being in the workforce for a while or raising children. We work with a lot of folks who maybe worked in one field, but because of a labor market shift or a disability or something in their life, they're no longer able to do that work or or want to do that work and looking for a change. So we work with a lot of folks who have busy schedules, families, jobs, barriers to education, and our role is to help them figure out how we can help them towards their goals. Everything that I'm going to talk about, we offer at no cost, with just one exception that I'll point out when I get to. And we have both, all of our programs are open to all community members, but we do also have some special programs for immigrants and refugees. So I'm going to break down our offerings in terms of career seekers and education seekers. All of our education programs are focused on career workforce development, but they're a little different in terms of where the starting point is. So these are the starting points we have for folks who are, really wanting to jump right into career. So we have on site the Worksource Center that the Worksystems speaker was talking about earlier. So that's right on site at Willow Creek. So we have within that Worksource Center different partners. There's job search support, access to short-term employment training opportunities, and resource navigation, and a little more that I'll talk about later in the education slide. We also have on site a program called Quick Start to Semiconductor Technician Training. This is a 2-week training for entry-level positions in the semiconductor industry. Depending on grant funding, it may be continuing just simply as a no-cost program. Currently, it is a no-cost program, and participants get a $1,000 stipend to do the 2-week training. So this focuses on people who are traditionally underrepresented in the semiconductor industry, but anyone can apply. It's 2 weeks, they get $1,000, and at the end, we have had kind of 2 different models. One is getting a direct interview with Intel, who has been the funder for this program, and the other has been more of a job fair model. So people can take this training and apply with any semiconductor employer locally. We also have on site a small business development center. So folks who are wanting to start or grow their small business have access to classes as well as coaching. So I mentioned there was one exception. The small business development center does charge for their classes. There is a cost for that. But the coaching element is free. So if folks just want to talk to someone about their business and get some advice, that is something they can access. And then even those classes, depending on that person's level of need, they could be able to get some funding from other places to pay for them. And then for our immigrant and refugee programs, we offer classes, workshops, and coaching to help newcomers build skills, create community, and access career and college opportunities. So that includes things like resume review and interview practice, learning how the experiences they had in their home country could relate to the labor market here, and getting help with finding those opportunities. Okay, so now moving on to what we offer here at Willow Creek for education seekers. So again, these are all going to be focused towards workforce development, so education leading towards a good family wage career. And on site at Willow Creek, we do offer a couple of degree and certificate programs, such as the mechatronics program and the medical assisting program. Of course, the larger PCC offers hundreds of degrees and certificates, and we do have a couple campuses that are in Washington County as well, including our Rock Creek campus. And also on site, we have ESOL classes, so English classes for speakers of other languages, adult basic education classes for adults who want to build skills or work towards the GED exam. There is an on-site GED testing center, so when people take their GED classes, they can then take the test right on site, which can sometimes be really good in terms of being a more comfortable place that you're already familiar with and reducing nerves. And then I mentioned WorkSource also has a hand in the education side as well. So our on-site WorkSource staff can also help people navigate some of those scholarships that our Worksystems presenter talked about earlier. So they would need to come and apply through WorkSource and be working towards a program that is part of it's called the ETPL list, Eligible Training Provider List. But most programs, especially the shorter term programs, are on that list. So if someone is looking for extra help paying for college, it's a really great option. Okay, and then finally, we have what's called the Career and College Prep Team, which is my team. And we are on site at both opportunity centers, really helping bridge the gap for greater access to college. So we offer programs to help people kind of build skills, and make a plan, learn what their options are. So we have Discover classes, which are no cost, short 2-week classes to learn about what are the options within this career, what are the career paths, what kind of education do I need, what will it cost, and we offer those in manufacturing and healthcare. We also offer computer basics classes. These are skill building for folks who need to brush up for success in the classroom. Career exploration workshops as well. WorkSource offers them too, but for these, they don't have to be signed up with WorkSource, so it's a very easy access. And then we have the immigrant and refugee programs also are intended to support education seekers as well. And then we do have a new grant initiative called Community to Careers. And this is just a little plug for something that's coming in the future. We're always working to develop strong relationships with community partners, gather feedback, and create more accessible pathways and supports that lead to college success. And so this grant is really helping us be able to do more of that, to connect with underrepresented populations, and to collaborate on a deeper level with some community partners. So look out for maybe an email from me at some point about this program and how we can collaborate. Annie, I did it in 9 minutes, and this is the contact information. I will also put it in the chat. A little quirk of today is that PCC is closed, and when you go to our website, it's actually going to say, just give you an announcement that we're closed. And so I'll put this link in the chat, but you might have to save it for another time. It's the center has been, where our IT has been down for a power outage. So the PCC website is a little wonky. But anyways, I'll be here for a little bit longer and checking the chat in case folks have questions for me.
Callie, thank you so much. And thank you for jumping in on a day when your offices are closed. I super appreciate that. And
You're welcome.
you had to share. And I will follow up in the follow-up email with your slide deck. And if you want to pop your email in the chat just so folks have it, that would be great.
You bet.
And any other questions you have for Callie, if you wouldn't mind directing them to Callie, that would be great. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you. Next up, we have Abby Thompson with Portland Youth Builders.
Excellent. Thank you, Annie. It's good to be here. Hope you all are staying warm and cozy. Let me pull up my presentation real fast. Should be short, sweet, and simple. Let's see here. Start the slideshow. All right, cool. Well, good morning, everyone. In case you are not familiar with me, if you haven't met me before, my name is Abby Thompson. I use she, her pronouns, and I represent the admissions office at Portland Youth Builders today. I'm going to share with you about our programs, our Bridge to Construction program in Washington County, the career support we offer, and how people can get started with us. A little bit about Portland Youth Builders. We are a job readiness program for young people ages 17 to 26 years old. We provide hands-on construction training as well as technology training, high school completion pathways at our Multnomah County location, and individualized long-term career coaching for all of our students. We have 2 programs, which I'll talk about, but the main one I'll be focused on today is our Bridge to Construction program, since it's located in Washington County. And I'll talk a little bit about what we provide through that program. But our 2 programs that we offer are Bridge to Construction and Youth Build. And we've been around here in Portland for a while, close to 30 years. I've been with PYB for about a year now, and had no idea that we existed until I started working here. And it's been amazing to see the amount of support and growth that our students achieve in a short amount of time in our programs, and the amount of resource that we're able to provide with them, with barrier removal support, job training, hands-on career coaching. Our 2 programs, so the basics of those 2 programs. Bridge to Construction. Bridge to Construction is a pre-apprenticeship program designed to support high school graduates or people who have their GED that are 18 to 26 with pursuing a living wage career in the construction trades. So we provide hands-on training and individualized career coaching, as well as a stipend to students who are in the program, helping them gain career level skills so that they can then leave our program and get a job. Bridge to Construction is located in Multnomah and Washington County, and I'll show you all on a map in just a moment. And then Youth Build is a program we just offer in at our Multnomah County location, but it is for 17 to 24-year-olds who need help completing high school. So we provide academic support with completing high school, as well as job training in construction or technology. These are our 2 locations. We are located in Multnomah and Washington County, like I mentioned before. Our Multnomah County location is on 92nd between Holgate and Foster. That program houses both programs. And then our Bridge to Construction Washington County location is on Southwest Lloyd in the Beaverton High School neighborhood. It's there that we have hands-on training spaces, tools, career coaches on site, trainers, and then we also transport students from that location to active construction sites that we work with in the community. We work with Habitat for Humanity, Taking Ownership, PBX a lot, contributing to low-income housing projects, renovations, helping Black homeowners in our community with their properties, lots of a wide range of experience, and all based in mostly carpentry-based skills. So our focus is on construction trades, and so I always like to talk a little bit about why that is an exceptional pathway to working towards a living wage career. First of all, construction is essential. As long as we have the infrastructure that we need to maintain for our communities, we will always have these jobs, and they will continue to exist. Construction is also a pathway that is really strong for a living wage career without a college education need. So students are getting paid while they're in our program. Students earn $15 an hour while they're in our program. And when they leave our program, ideally they're leaving for an apprenticeship or a position in the trades. Starting out for a carpentry apprentice, you're typically making somewhere around $26 to $27 an hour when you're starting that job. And then by the end of year 4 or 5 as a journey worker, you're making about $45 to $55 an hour. So students can come to our program, get paid to do training, and then leave to make, $26, $27 an hour with incremental increases for the next, 4 to 5 years as they continue their training in an apprenticeship. I mentioned also there's a huge college debt problem in this country, and this is a pathway to living wage careers that students can, provide for their families, buy a home, and not get into college debt in order to do that. So these are the basics, the details of the program and what students are getting while they're in Bridge to Construction. So while they're in the program, they will earn multiple different certificates. They'll earn their Bureau of Labor and Industry certification, or BOLI.
OSHA 10 Green Workforce Trainee, and CPR. They'll also receive long-term job coaching and job placement support. So we will continue to contact and work with the students as long as they need our help with their careers. And if they go into their careers and start and then need help applying to a future position or another opportunity or trying to level up their skills, we'll still be there and have a lot of industry connections and knowledge to help support them in those next steps. Our construction training is hands-on. Sometimes programs do use online components. Ours does not. It's all in person. Students are focused on carpentry-based skills, but they get exposure to a wide range of unions and apprenticeships. So they'll visit union locations, apprenticeships, hear from people in the industry. We do a lot of mock interviews, so they're actually getting interview experience and connecting with those employers before they even leave the program. We have direct and preferred entry into apprenticeship and trades jobs. So that means when students leave our program, there's employers waiting to hire them. Some examples of direct entry would be carpenters, laborers, ironworkers, roofers, and local 290, which is HVAC. We do offer a financial incentive. So students are earning $15 an hour while they're in the program. It comes out to a little over $500 a week over that 9 weeks of training. Students meet Tuesday through Friday from 8 till 3:30 and have some Monday hours while they're in the program. And we've got about a 95% placement rate in jobs as students finish. So really high success rate with students who make it through the end of the program. There are a few eligibility requirements. We're really looking for people with a strong desire to go into the trades. This is not designed to be a let's test this out, let's see if this is the right opportunity. This is really like an intensive program that expects a lot from students, and they won't be successful in the program unless they want to go into this career. We also require that they live in either Multnomah or Washington County, and they will attend the location in that county that they reside in. They need to have graduated high school or completed a GED, and they need to be between 18 to 26 years old. There's no experience required, and the program is completely free. I've talked a little bit about our career support, but every single student is assigned a career advocate who will be their resource for navigating barriers, job searches, exploring different career pathways within the trades, assistance with getting gear. So if students need work boots or gear, we'll help them do that. And then our alumni support groups are regular and well attended and are a great resource for students who've left the program. And finally, our Bridge to Construction program, we have a new entry point every 2 months or so. So students are starting every 2 to 3 months. Our next point of entry is March 12th, and then there's one after that on May 21. In order to get started in the process of joining our program, really the first step is just to reach out, and then we'll schedule an appointment to do an application and ask some eligibility questions. I've got our phone number and email here. We're also always happy to schedule tours of our facility and show people around if they'd like to get a better idea of the program. But yeah, first step is just to reach out, express interest, and we'll schedule an application appointment from there. Once students have completed an application appointment and we've determined they're eligible for the program, we'll collect some documentation from them. So kind of basic employment documentation like photo ID, social security card, and we'll look at some income information as well. But that's the first step for getting started in the program. And like I mentioned, we've got 2 points of entry coming up, March 12th and May 21st in both Multnomah and Washington County. I will make sure that I also put this contact information in the chat, but I'd like to open things up to see if we have any questions.
Abby, there are a few questions in the chat. If you wouldn't mind responding directly to those, that would be fantastic. And yes, if you could pop your information in the chat. Thank you, so much. I love this program. I love that students are paid while they're going through the program. I think that's a fabulous addition, and just a great launching pad for someone who enjoys the construction trade. So thank you so much for sharing. And again, if you have questions for Abby, just as trying to be mindful of time, please pop those in the chat. And Abby, if you could monitor those, that'd be great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Annie.
Thank you. Okay, so we have 2 presenters left. I hope that you will maybe include some drive time at the end, just for a few additional minutes. We have PCC Clear Clinic, and then we have Easterseals. So PCC Clear Clinic, I see John Cofield.
Hi, how's it
Do you
going?
go by JJ? Is that correct?
I do go by JJ, yeah.
Okay.
More fun, I
Great.
think, than John. Hi, everybody. My name's, Annie, can you put up the poster that I sent you?
Yes, let me pop that up here.
Thanks for the assistance. Like Callie was saying, PCC is down, basically, all the websites, so it's been a difficult morning.
Where are we at here?
Yeah, well, I can at least get started. I'll try to be
Yes.
very quick time here today. My name is JJ Caulfield. I'm the staff attorney for our criminal record relief program at the PCC Clear Clinic. Rather than go over all of the programs that we have at the Clear Clinic, I will go ahead and just talk about what we're focused on in Washington County. In Washington County at the Willow Creek Opportunity Center, we have a once a month legal services clinic. Rather than the lawyers that you see on TV or legal service providers you see on TV, we do shorter terms of service. So what that means is we do limited scope or discrete legal services for folks to try and reduce barriers. And so what kind of the big stuff that we do with these clinics are criminal record expungements, eviction expungements, and occasionally other things like a legal name and gender marker change, or we also provide referrals to, or what I do at these clinics, I provide referrals to our immigration program back at PCC. So the big questions to answer, Ryder, how much does this cost for folks? It doesn't cost anything for our services. Some things require relatively small amounts of money for filing fees, or in the case of criminal record expungement, a $33 background check fee that goes to the Oregon State Police. But like I said, we provide no services, and there are no barriers to receive our services. So even if you make a little more money than, let's say, 80% area median income, then we will still be happy to provide services for you. And so I will actually just go ahead and leave it to questions in the chat for the rest of this, because I think we're running out of time here.
Awesome, JJ. Thank you so much. Yes, any questions you have, I will make sure to send this poster out afterwards. And if you did not register for Thrives today and you do not receive the CSN email, please go in and do that so that you can get this follow-up information. And that link is right there in the chat. Thank you so much. This is important work, JJ. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. And last but not least, we have Susie Gross from, did I say that correctly? No, Gross. Is that correct? I do.
It's Goss, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure how
No, you're all good.
My apologies. Susie Gross
Yeah.
from Easterseals,
Yes.
And their Senior Community Service Employment Program. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course. So go through here. Okay, so I'm a program manager with the CSEP. It's the acronym for Senior Community Service Employment Program. And we're part of the Department of Labor. So specifically, what we do is we offer individuals that are 55 and up with opportunities for training in the community. So the good thing about like our program in general is that we partner with nonprofits who are seeking individuals for volunteer opportunities. And so those nonprofits have, for instance, we may partner with like Habitat for Humanity, and they have a need for a few trainees to be there for a dedicated volunteer. And so what we do is we provide community service and work-based job trainings for older Americans. And then we provide those individuals with a stipend to go to these volunteer opportunities in the community. So we pay up to the minimum wage of the Portland metro area, which I believe is $15.45, and we offer 20 hours a week of training. Some of the requirements would be that the person interested in the program and the participant would need to be 55 and older. And then be 125% below the federal poverty line. And so also they can't be employed at the moment when entering into the program, because that's the idea of the program, is to offer the training to build up skills for employment. So these are kind of the income, unemployed, and 55. And specifically our program, we're wraparound services. So we provide all kinds of help for seniors. So we may, you know, when they come into the program, they may have not worked for a number of years. So we would see about what kind of soft skills they would need, what they may need to brush up on, like resume, interviews, any kind of specialized career path assistance. And so we offer all of these things to help them, along with support services. So if an individual is coming in and they really need housing, we can get them stabilized. We can offer support towards utility bills that haven't been paid for, to get them completely stabilized before they enter into a training assignment in the community. So all of this kind of helps them with being stable and focused solely on training while they're in our program. And so these are kind of the things that we see oftentimes. We help with accommodations. So if there's an individual, a lot of our participants are on SSDI, SSI, Social Security. And so we meet them where they're at. So if there's an accommodation, our opportunities in the community oftentimes will allow for that accommodation to be made. So maybe they need to sit or stand a certain period of time. Once we get that doctor's note, we can see how our trainings can benefit them. And then we help with all of these different things. You know, housing, income may be a challenge. We partner with Connecting Communities and other organizations with English as a second language. So we partner with those to get as much help as we can for those participants as well. And overall, just see where they're at, what they need, and help them along in their journey to find employment. So this is a good representation of someone that we've helped. You know, we've gotten a referral from Northwest Pilot Project, and, you know, this individual, she had lost a partner of 17 years, so probably was losing that amount of income as well. And so what we did was we could set her up, get her some dental help, car, a phone, and then find what transferable skills she could use, you know, from one of our training assignments so that she could find employment, build up her resume, and then she got employment at Village Market. So it's really important that our community partners, if they have a need for volunteers, to help someone like this individual, because, you know, as we know, seniors are, the great benefits that a senior can provide are, you know, immeasurable. And so it's really important that, you know, kind of these overlooked or populations can have a chance to also receive the skills and get back into working. So I'll leave it there because I know we're on a time crunch. So feel free, I can send on this, and then I'll also send a flyer that you guys can submit to anybody that you feel could be a good fit for the program.
Thank you, Susie, so much. I like all of these programs, and I love the specialty area of 55 and older, because that is often age range that can have a challenging time finding work. And as we know, health can kind of enter the picture and change the scene really fast. So super appreciate what you're sharing and the work that you're doing as well. All right, we are at 10:03, 3 minutes over. My apologies, but I just want to say thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to all of you who were able to attend. I hope that you have a safe, restful, warm rest of your day. I know that, again, there's a lot going on, but just super appreciate you and the work you're doing and look forward to connecting with all of you folks in Washington County as we enter into that scene. So thank you again. And again, I will share follow-up information. If you have not signed up for our email list, make sure to do so by going to that CSN website. And I think that's all that I have to share. Again, the recording, there is a recording and you can feel free to share that or review it. And I think that's everything. So thank you again. Have a lovely day and stay safe and warm. Appreciate you.